Here's the sneaky way we're tempted. It's the second way. Much more subtle. You would compare your goodness in your walk with God based on how someone else is doing. In other words, because this person I'm helping is really struggling, now I feel more valuable to God. It's kind of the attitude that says, wow, God, thank you that I'm not as pathetic as that person. That's a temptation when you help somebody. But think of the Pharisee. Lord, thank you that I'm not like that person. When our attitude should be careful lest you think you stand, that you do not fall. Paul warns against this spirit, verse 4 and 5. Let each one test his own work, and then his reason to boast will be in himself alone and not in his neighbor. For each will have to bear his own load. It's true. We bear one another's burdens. We help one another out. But it's also true that one day Christians will stand in front of Christ judging their works. Now, it's true that, we stand with Christ when the world's judged, whether they're in Christ or not. But there's also an individual judgment. There's two judgments. One where we stand before Christ. We read this in 1 Corinthians 3. We read it in Romans 14, 1 Corinthians 4, Colossians 2, that Christ judges us based on our deeds. And there's a great temptation to think that I'm more spiritual and I'm more righteous because this person's struggling. And when I look at them, well, at least I'm not as bad as that Christian, so God must think more of me. Somehow their failure means I'm doing pretty good. That is the wrong application to draw when you're helping somebody. At least I'm not as bad as Brother Jones over there, or Sister Sally, I know I'm not a perfect Christian, but I don't gossip like she does, or I don't drink like he does. And so we look at them and we kind of judge them, and then we say, I'm good with God. Listen, all of us are unique. We have different situations that God has saved us from. Remember what Jesus says? He says, for first century Jerusalem, okay? He says it'll be more tolerable for Sodom and Gomorrah. I mean, they're the worst of the worst. It's going to be more tolerable for them on Judgment Day than it was for first century Jerusalem. Why? Because their circumstances were different. They were unique. First century Jerusalem should have known better. They saw Christ walking in their midst. Where Sodom and Gomorrah was a much different situation. So it's more tolerable for them on Judgment Day than first century Jerusalem. So don't put your confidence in the fact that, well, I'm better than this poor person I'm helping out.